How does that look?
No, I'm not saying that. You get some sense that there's a handful of stocks.
Look at that. I mean, you could tie that to the market. Bang.
Welcome back to Commercial Break. I'm Tim Seymour, and the man in black is none other than Guy Adami. Guy, you're wearing black, so it must be the day that we do heroes and zeros. Although you wear black every day, so
I wear black every day, so it stands to reason that we could be doing heroes and zeros because I'm wearing black. But to your point, I wear black every day, so I'm like Morticia Adams, by the way.
Well, and Tish spoke French. By the way, every day we're on Reach TV, where you can find us somewhere in the airport, in your hotel room. And what we do with Heroes and Zeros is where we take, examples of the entertainment world, sports world, music, and business, and we try to weave a narrative around hero or zero. Easy to negotiate, I think, both sides many days. Today, we've got a unique setup, Guy. What are we doing?
Well, it's interesting. We have our heroes and zeros are all from one news peg, and that news peg is Spotify in the middle, and then Joe Rogan on one side of the equation and Neil Young on the other. That, to me, is like a first in heroes and zeros history.
Well, and the thing about it is, obviously, we're going to have people that will be on both sides of every one of these issues. Let me jump in, I guess, with maybe the least controversial. I don't know. Spotify. Let's start with Spotify. I'm going to call them zero. I'm going to call them zero because I just feel like, first of all, they are beholden to the dollar signs of their commitment to Joe Rogan, whether they believe the issues or not. And look at their stock price. It's not necessarily a function of this issue. The stock's been going down and down and down. It's 60% off its all-time highs. And I think at some point still there's concern about this business model. And again, I got a company here that's more concerned about dollars and cents.
The backstory, of course, is that Neil Young was upset that Joe Rogan, again, getting into somewhat political, but Joe Rogan was pushing a lot of his anti-vax stuff, and Neil Young didn't want to be on the same platform that Joe Rogan occupied in the form of Spotify. So Neil Young told Spotify, it's either him or me. And to your point, Spotify started as a music platform, but it's made its way into podcasts. And I think the calculus that they're making, or the actuary has said, you know what, we're better with Joe Rogan than they are with Neil Young. So whether that's true or not doesn't really matter to me. But the fact that they're getting away from their roots and a number of other things, I'm with you. Spotify, zero.
Nice use of actuary. I have no idea what is an actuary? Because I mean, seriously, I think you just used that word. You have no idea either.
Somebody that looks at a situation, processes all the data behind it, is devoid of emotion, and says, listen, on a dollars and cents basis, this is decision you need to make. By the way, the actuarial exam is one of the most difficult exams out there.
Dude, you are not devoid of vocabulary this morning, which is good, because there are days I wonder. I'm certainly not bringing it. All right, so Spotify, devoid of anything other than concern about the issue. Although again, the question is, are they? And I ultimately will take it back to, is Spotify a service that I need in my life? And as a guy that is going to vinyl and my own collection and making my own mixes, Guy Adami, simply though, I don't need it. I know you have a huge Spotify list, and where does Neil Young fit on your list?
I have 12 Neil Young songs. I counted before we got on a commercial break.
Out of how many?
I have 12
out of how many?
Out of 712. So you can do the percentage. That's a significant amount when you think of all the artists that my Spotify list comprised. But you mentioned the word Simply, and for some reason I immediately think of Simply Red, which was huge. I want to say when, Tim, in the late 80s, or right?
Simply Red. First of all, Simply Red. Is that Lady in Red? Is that
no? That's Krista Berg, by the way. So the great Krista Berg. And what you would find insulting about that song is they used a drum machine, which you absolutely can tell they used. They didn't bring in a real drummer. Yeah.
No, drummers don't need to be marginalized by drum machines or Simply Red or Krista Berg or Neil Young, hero. Okay, Neil Young's a hero. Look, I appreciate the fact that he's out there making a stand here, and we I think people care about your and I's politics as much as they care about Simply Red. So I'm not offering a political view on what Neil Young has done here. I'm offering a view that the godfather of grunge is a man of principle, and he's a man who really, I'm just going to look at his music career. I mean, think about what he was doing with Buffalo Springfield, what he did on a number of different solo acts. Obviously, CNNY. There are those that say there is no CNNY without the Y. And then of course there's Powderfinger guy. I mean, there's Powderfinger.
Can I tell you, you have now been turned on to live Powderfinger off the Live Rust LP, but I have said this on numerous occasions over the year. There's certain songs that you have to experience live. I think Whipping Post by the Allman Brothers is one. I mean, we could talk about Bohemian Rhapsody or Stairway.
Not live.
But Powderfinger by Neil,
Yeah.
absolute. Powderfinger by Neil Young and Crazy Horse is way up there, and the lyrics are absolute poetry.
So look, I'm not challenging Powderfinger live. I think it's ridiculous. That guitar riff slices through you like nobody's business. But Bohemian Rhapsody live, I don't think I've ever heard one. And if there is a version, there's no way they're doing it anywhere near as well, because you can't tell me those guys in Queen with all the operatic sounds are pulling that off live. No way. I'm not buying Brian May.
I saw Queen twice, and I will tell you that the theatrics involved in pulling off Bohemian Rhapsody live were worth the price of admission. Just saying.
Did they do it? Were they skipping a beat? I don't think it was anything close.
They obviously, Freddie started it out on the piano. I mean, if you really want to go down this route, but when all the things happen in the middle of the song, all the operatic stuff, they went to sort of a video. Everything sort of got dark, a lot of light shows. I don't think they were performing that portion of the song, but it didn't matter because just the experience of seeing it live made up for it. I like them apples.
So I like it. I'm not buying it. And I like Queen. I don't love Queen like you love Queen. And I think you jumped on the Queen bandwagon after that movie. But I'm going to say Frampton Comes Alive is the greatest live album other than Cheap Trick at Budokan and the genius, the genius of Budokan. Dude, the fact of the matter is no one had heard of Cheap Trick until they came out with that album live at Budokan. They taped a bunch of like crowd noise of rabid, Japanese, Asian fans that were going crazy for this band on the other side of the world. They come back, they're heroes here, and we had no idea. So I'm going Cheap Trick at Budokan, followed by Frampton Comes Alive, because again, Frampton had, humble pie or wherever he came from, but he'd arguably done nothing until some media exec realized I can launch this guy and make him everybody's hero.
Look, the greatest live album of all time is Leonard Skinner's One More from the Road, without question. I mean, put it on and you'll hear the genius. And you mentioned Budokan. People in Budokan never heard of Budokan. And then Eric Clapton went out there for just one night, I believe. Everybody started going out there at one point.
Yeah, so all right, so before we get out of here, I've got to weigh in on Back to Back. The Dead hadn't put out anything in a long time that was really that great. I mean, I think they were actually underrated albums, Shakedown Street and whatnot.
Oh.
But Reckoning into Dead Set. Okay, you don't even know what I'm talking about at this point. So let's move on to Joe Rogan. But again, I think those are two incredible live albums. Joe Rogan, Hero Zero guy, Adami.
He's been a zero. He remains a zero, and it's very difficult for him ever to be anything but a zero to me. So regardless of this news peg, a zero first, a zero last, and a zero in between.
I'm going to call him a zero, except for the fact that he's a huge fan of Commercial Break, and he's probably watching us right now. He's probably heading to the gate, but before he does, he's going to, pick himself up some water and stay hydrated. And he's somebody that I think could probably pick up on our banter. But anyway, heroes and zeros guy, Adami, this week you're, I'm calling you a hero for wearing the same shirt on Commercial Break 5 days out of 10. So good for you. Good for you.
I can do that math. That's 50% of the time. Maybe I'll change in the commercial break for Commercial Break, as they say. But we are Commercial Break. You can find us anywhere you're traveling, Tim. We are there.
I'm kicking back in a hotel room. I'm flipping the dial. You're coming on. I'm sitting back. I'm watching. But yeah, wherever you may roam, folks, Commercial Break every day. Reach TV. I'm Tim Seymour. He's Guy Adami. And collectively, we are...
We're Commercial Break, man.